Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. One of the outcomes of that genius Humza Yousaf's plan to freeze council tax is that councils don't have a lot of money now. They were already underfunded, and now they are even more underfunded, despite Shona Robertson promising to pay them lots of money. This money is yet to appear, and it is having consequences, and for one group in particular, it could be life-changing. This group, of course, is school children. In Falkirk, they are actually cutting the amount of hours that children go to school. They're attempting it anyway, because there's an awful lot of backlash at the moment. They're trying to cut it for all primary school children from 25 to 22 and a half hours a week, and other cuts are trying to be organised for senior or secondary school pupils as well. The parents are outraged. They have launched a petition to try and reverse this, make sure it doesn't happen. And even the Scottish Government is saying that it's wrong. But this is one of those consequences that was easily seen when the idiot-in-chief announced his council tax freeze as a panic measure at the party conference. Ping! What a genius. Let's have a look to see what's happening in Falkirk County Council and why the kids there will be set back for life if they cut their time in class. Here goes. So thousands of parents across Falkirk say they are outraged at plans by the council to cut school learning hours in a bid to save money. Because, they're poor. They can't afford to spend the money. And so kids will be punished, if you will, by Humza Yousaf's plan to freeze council tax, simply to make him look the hard man in front of the conference. This is the outcome. This is what happens when you vote for the SNP. They harm your children's futures. Falkirk Council is facing a budget gap of £64 million over the next 5 years and says there will be direct cuts to staff and services if school hours aren't reduced. For primary school pupils, the week could reduce from 25 hours of learning to 22 and a half, and while secondary schools could see the week reduced from 26.6 to 24.7. The Scottish Government says the proposals are unacceptable, and yet strangely, it was the Scottish Government that insisted on the council tax freeze. Everybody could see if you did this, these sort of things would happen. We even posted the sort of things that would happen. This was one of them. It's not an act of genius to see that if you cut funding, things have to fall over and fail, this being one of them. It's the talk of the playground for parents at schools across the Falkirk area as concern grows about the future of their children's education. Well, given that the education they are getting already is pretty bad and we're falling down the league tables and it's all that, if you cut the hours, it's going to get worse. This whole generation will be unable to think, let alone go and get further education. It will destroy the future of Scotland. Scotland needs bright, educated people. And what are they doing? Turning them into, an idiocracy. Meetings are set to get underway shortly to inform parents and carers of the new plans. But mum of two, Leanne Tate, has already set up a petition against the move that's received more than 2,000 signatures. And quite right too. Not only is it, of course, the problem with the kids not getting the full education they deserve, but there's also the case, of course, that many parents need the kids in school for set times so that they can go out and work. And by having the child comes out, it imposes more cost on parents and it increases child poverty. You see, something that the government say they are desperately trying to stop. Well, they say they're desperately trying to stop, but they're actually not doing anything to stop it. This is one of those causes of child poverty. Parents not able to work the full hours that they could. It's funny, isn't it, how these things all are interconnected. Anyway, Leanne told STV News, when you look at the numbers, it works out from primary 1 to senior 6 that they're going to lose a whole year of education in that time. It's a whole year less than all their peers in the rest of Scotland. I think that puts them at such a disadvantage. Not kidding either. Falkirk Council is proposing what it's calling a new asymmetric week that could see all the schools closed in the area at lunchtime on a Friday. STV News has received emails of concern, not only from parents worried about how that would affect their children's education, but how it would affect those who have no childcare, just mentioned this, as well as children with additional support needs. They don't think these things through. It took a moment of reflection to think this thing would happen, but, you know, the wise one, the Grand Mufti, sat there, realised he had a really crap speech at the conference, went, ping, light bulb, I know, we'll do this. And you can see everyone in the background going, oh God, no, because they knew it was an absolute load of wank. 20 parents have written to the local authority expressing their concerns, and James Alexander from Kinnard Primary, I know it's probably Kinnaird, but I like it, Kinnard. I went to school, it was Kinnard. Primary School Parent Partnership said, sorry, my sense of humour. The three key highlights for us are the reduction in school time. 40 weeks of education will be lost if the proposal goes forward. Secondly, the effect it will have on additional support needs, particularly here at Kinnaird, where we have a large provision. And thirdly, the cost of implications. Well, this will have the cost implications that this will have for families, and say extra care needed and things like that, and one of the parents perhaps having to cut hours of earning. Councillor Laura Murtagh added, we shouldn't be talking a postcode lottery approach to children's education, and I think it would be important that the government engage in that discussion as well. Well, yeah, you're sitting there, but it's your council cutting the hours. So what are you doing about it? Are you fighting it? Probably not. They say if they want to see learning hours prescribed, I would very much be in favour of that. In other words, you know, have set hours that must be completed per week. That's fine. It's not just the parents that are worried. Andrea Bradley, General Secretary of the Educational Institute of Scotland, said people are very concerned about the intent behind this reconfiguration of the pupil week. They think it is the underhand way of administering cuts to the quality of pupils' education, but also cuts to teacher numbers. And neither of those things are acceptable to the EIS. The unions will be up in arms. This will be a strike action from unions. A Falkirk Council spokesperson said, we understand parents and carers are concerned, blah, 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 but they're not doing anything about it. But of course, they're the ones with a £64 million shortfall over the next 5 years, partially brought in, of course, by the genius idea of freezing council tax by a man who's no longer in power. Perhaps it could be reversed. Perhaps Swinney should say, no, councils, please, if you feel like putting it up, put it up, because I know otherwise many more of you are going to cut services, and it's going to look really bad on the SNP as we go into an election where everything is being cut to the bone. Coming up. So there you go. That's what happens, isn't it? You vote SNP and your kids' futures are destroyed. If you're an SNP voter, is that what you voted for? Did you want your kids to lose a year's education over their entire educational lifespan simply because Humza Yousaf had the bright idea of a council tax freeze? Unbelievable, isn't it? Still, stupid is as stupid does. If you're stupid enough to vote SNP, you're just going to have stupid kids, aren't you? You're starting from a very low base. Anyway, we'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.